Have you ever built what you thought was the perfect page? All the keywords in the right places, good headings, you put schema, internal links, external links, you ticked all the boxes on Yoast, you give it a good title, a good meta description, maybe you even run it through something like Page Optimizer Pro, and you got a really good score. You publish the page in hopes of ranking right there at the top, and you're position 45. Or you went ahead and you bit the bullet and you built those backlinks that you knew you had to build because you've been following the right SEOs on YouTube, and the page went down instead of going up. In this video, I'm going to show you how Google connects on-page SEO with off-page SEO, why some pages are basically unrankable no matter how many links you build to them, and then I'm going to give you a free 3-dimensional assessment skill that you can use with your favorite LLM to figure out exactly how good your page really is and whether it's ready to put money with link building behind it or not. By the end of this video, you will know exactly what to fix first on your page so you can actually be at the top both on Google and LLMs where you deserve to be. Most SEOs treat on-page SEO and off-page SEO as two completely separate things, both very checklist driven. They build both and they call it a Tuesday in hopes that that will be all they need to do to rank. Well, in truth, that's not how Google works, and that's also not what influences AIs to get your brand recommended. On-page SEO and off-page SEO are two parts of the same comprehensive ranking system. On-page sets the ceiling of how far up you can actually go, and off-page is the fuel that moves you faster up to that ceiling. Let me show you on the whiteboard exactly what that looks like. Here we have our information retrieval score. This is your on-page SEO score. And here we have our page rank. This is your off-page SEO score, simplified. How does Google determine who wins the race? Well, let's say we already have someone in number 1. That someone has 70 aggregate points. What do you mean? And yes, I'm massively oversimplifying the math, yet still on course. Information retrieval, aka how good is your page, is the base score that then gets multiplied by your page rank, by the links, your mentions, digital PR, all those kinds of things, okay? And the gap between where you have to score and where you are is determined by the combination of those two, where in this case here, page A will have 36 points, right? An information retrieval score, aka a content score, a 9 out of 10, with only a 4 out of 10 when it comes to the amount of backlinks that it has, versus a page that has only a 2 out of 10 in terms of the content quality, but it's a 9 out of 10, has the best links out there. Why would this page be further and not rank, and this one be closer to rank? Because your information retrieval, your on-page SEO score, is your ceiling. The ceiling of how far up can you go is set first by the quality of your content. It says, Alex, I've seen garbage content rank out there. What's garbage for a user and what's garbage for Google and AIs sometimes are not the same thing. Google and AIs want to see a very specific thing, and that's what I will show you in the next segment. Now, let's zoom in how Google decides what your page is about before links can even push you up for that query. Google and LLMs don't treat your page as just a big wall of text and they treat the entirety of it just the same. They use your headings to build a tree of the different entities and modifiers that appear on the page to truly comprehend what your page is actually about. You will see this on Google Patents as something called heading vectorization, but you don't need the precise math behind that. You just need to know the structure. So let me show you. Let me show you exactly how Google uses headings in order to understand your page. And it's not just Google, AIs do exactly the same. I'm referring here to this particular patent. I will do a much more in-depth video on it and this subject. But for today, the 80-20 of what you need to know is Google uses headings, let's say this H1, Red Notebooks, to assess what your page, title Best Red Notebooks for All Users, is actually about. One H1, the one that defines what this page is about, aka the primary entity. What's an entity, right? A keyword. Notebooks is the defining term. Red is a modifier because this page is all about red notebooks, not blue ones. If you have a page for blue notebooks, that'll be a different page. Beautiful. Now that we are talking about red notebooks and we're all in the same page, what are the sections of that page? What are the main sections? If I'm Google and I need to figure out what the main sections that make this article completely exhaustive and the sections that should be mutually exclusive, I am going to find things like red composition notebooks, red journals, red leather notebooks, right? Within red journals, I might find things like bullet journals and affirmation journals, which as you will see, will be one layer under, which means each time we go down one heading, we making the idea narrower and narrower. How does this through the science explained on this patent, help both Google and AIs understand your content and then surface the right sections of your content when somebody goes to ChatGPT and says, hey, ChatGPT, I want to buy some affirmation journals and I want them to have a red cover. Where can I go that has, good shipping policies and all the other stuff that you should have in your complementary pages? If you want your store.com to appear when somebody looks for this, you have to make sure that you have a section that directly targets this. Why? Because both Google and AI will do the following flow. Hit your page, red notebooks, cool. What are the main items? This one, this one, this one. User is requesting affirmation journals. Okay, cool. Let me follow this trail. Affirmations, there you go. We found it. Cool. Here's your answer, user. Provided that your site has all the trust elements in place. But what happens with a much deeper query, a query that is much more like people are actually using AI? Because obviously, the more detail that you get in your prompt, the better results that you get. What if I'm looking for a red affirmation journal, for those days that I feel down, but I know that all my problems is that I didn't sleep well, or maybe I didn't eat well, and I just want my journal to tell me, yes, Alejandro, today you can go to sleep at the time that you proposed yourself that you were gonna go to sleep, and yes, you will continue with your diet because you're doing great and you're losing weight, right? What if I want my affirmation journal to tell me those things, and then I write down how I feel about the day, and that helps me moving forward? Well, I would be looking for a product like this, and that would be literally what I type into ChatGPT or any other AI. If you have a section that literally talks about that, AI will absolutely adore you, because now you're just giving it an answer for such a narrow query that in most cases AI will fail to answer it. Even if you go a level deeper and you say, hey, the same thing but with Mickey on the cover, AI will absolutely adore you. And guess who runs a big AI that has millions of queries like this happening every day? Google. And it answers through the AI overview. So if you want to be the source, recommend the product, get a little link, get the traffic, get the conversions, make sure that your headings are completely exhaustive. That's an acronym from McKinsey, where basically the first half is mutually exclusive. What does that mean? This section and this section are different stuff. This is composition notebooks, this is journals. We don't bleed into each other. If there is a product that belongs in two categories, I choose the category in which it's best represented, and I only talk about it there. I don't talk about it multiple times, right? No overlaps. So if I have a red leather journal, is the most important thing that is leather, or is the most important thing that it is a journal? Well, if it's the only journal that I have with Mickey on the cover is my leather one, I will put it here and not here, all right? Because these will have a larger search volume than the variation of a red affirmation journal for the days that I feel down with Mickey on the cover and I also want it to be leather, right? It's easier for AI and Google to find it under journals than it is to find it under leather notebooks, because that's the path that is most obvious because the entity is the clearest, right? I don't know if I'm gonna find a Mickey journal under leather notebooks, but I do know I might find it under journals. And that's the way it follows. So this takes care of the body section of your own page, which is one of the big four. The other big three being your title, which you have to have the main entity as close as possible to the beginning to make sure that AI is like, ah, cool, I'm in the right place. Your H1, which should be different from your title, but also include the main entity, and your URL, which should be only the main keyword, the main entity. Keep it very clean. If it's nested under silo, like, okay, store.com/notebooks/red, that's fine. So this is how you keep your own page very tight. This is how you elevate your own page base level already to a 7. And then the other 3 points that would again be the multiplying points that when you point links to that page, the links will multiply that. Already you're halfway there. Why? Because in every one of these headings, you're going to be including the entities that should appear on the page if you're being completely exhausted. It hurts more to not have journals anywhere on your page than it does to have red too many times, which is something that everybody worries about. But what about not covering the elements, the entities that Google expects on the page? There is another patent. I have more videos about it. I'll give you the scoop on the most important part. Google expects certain terms to appear on your page a certain amount of times. That is already on the science. So does AI, in order to tell whether the article really answers the question or not. If we're answering the question of red notebooks, of course, we will talk about red journals. But if you don't have it, now you're not completely exhaustive. You are missing a big entity. You're missing a whole section. This doesn't exist. Hey, but what if I do have it? I just don't have it on the headings. You don't have it. You have it, but it's invisible. This is why headings do 90% of the job for you already. This is like the skeleton. If I'm missing my spine, everything else is just going to be a blob that falls down, right? This is what keeps the piece in place, nice and strong. So make sure that you have all the entities yes, repeat yourself, no problem. If you then run something like Page Optimizer Pro or Cora or Surfer SEO and it tells you, hey brother, you have, red bullet too many times, good. Don't remove it from your headings. Remove it from the body, from the text below. You can under-optimize in the actual text. Don't under-optimize your headings because they have the highest salience, the one that are gonna tell Google the loudest, hey, this is what I'm about. So keep your headings very obvious, very SEO-y. It's okay, right, to be SEO-y in your headings because it also helps users know exactly where they are. And then in the body, just be helpful. You can think about keywords a little bit less there on the actual paragraphs that live under. Same for your images, have variations of these, sprinkle in your alt tags in your images, and that will take care of a lot of things. You know what else happens when you get very comprehensive on these? Those 5 quality models that we talk about, tofu, char, keto, rhubarb, as well as content effort, well, they get satisfied because when you have such a comprehensive article, your content effort by nature is going to go up. And your rhubarb, which measures the average quality of all your pages for a page as well as structured as this one, for as long as you don't miss your journals, the rhubarb will be higher, which means now that page has a higher chance to rank than anything else on your site. But that page alone brings the entirety of your site up because now your site quality average just went up because in one page you finally did the job and you went completely exhaustive and you make sure that all your sections are mutually exclusive and you have all the entities in the right cascading order with all the appropriate modifiers based on all the sub keywords that you want to rank for, right? Every single modifier, every single sub entity and child entities like journals, which is different from notebooks, but not all notebooks are journals, but all journals are a form of a notebook. And that's how you win on page. So once Google has finally understood your page because you put all the right things on the right headings, and now you are ranking somewhere on page 1 because not only you did that, but you built some actual good backlinks, Google will start asking you one more question. Hey, when I send traffic to your page, are you actually going to satisfy the users? Or are they going to go back to me and then ask me again to give them different pages because what they found on you wasn't good enough? And that is the precise idea behind a system called NavBoost. Let me show you. The next layer that is going to influence our SEO and AI ranking success is going to be NavBoost. NavBoost is a system outlined on this patent here, originally called modifying search result ranking based on implicit user feedback. How do you imply feedback from users without asking them directly? Very easy. You look at each click that they produce, and Google knows that data as they had to reveal on their trial against the Department of Justice of the United States, which is the second source of this idea, where they say, yes, if you are logged into your Chrome profile, and they can tell, yeah, there's a real human behind this, they will measure your click activity on different pages, what you're doing. So if you then go to, let's say, this store here, these are, by the way, the actual Google results as the time of making this video. I'll do a screenshot in a second and show you some other things, right? When it comes to SEO success. So let's say you click on this store, but you stay there for a very short amount of time, right? The dwell time of these clicks. Let's say you click on the store, you scroll, you don't seem to find what you were looking for and you click out. Or you click here in this language website with kind of related content, but not exactly answering the question of the best notebooks for language learning. I'm like, this looks like a long read. This is not what I'm looking for. Let me go back to search. That would be a short click, okay? Short clicks have a negative score. But let's say that you land here on Etsy, and like, oh, this is interesting, lots of notebooks, and you start kind of like digging there, and you're like, this looks frustrating, maybe let me go back and make the question again, I will refine my query. So it is a medium click, okay. Now, one click alone doesn't tell much, but over thousands of clicks, it helps already Google establish a weighted click score. Basically, every single click by the weight, by the score that that click produced. That gives them something that they can use mathematically to assess through implied user feedback just how good your page is. Because if it was really good, people will stay there for a long time. Matter of fact, if your page was really good, means your page perfectly answered that query and the user made no other queries after that. They click, boom, 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 they go to your site, amazing. They stay there for like a whole 3 minutes, they buy a notebook and they close the tab. That is a last click, has a 0.9 on the patent. The values might be different. Now doesn't matter. What matters is that long clicks is basically the weighted score of the clicks divided by the total amount of clicks. So if 1,000 clicks produce 1,000 points, your LC is going to be super high. And that creates an informational retrieval boost. Information retrieval. Well, we said before that there's 5 quality models the Google also needs to be able to read your headings. All of those things will give you a base score of information retrieval. How much information am I gaining as Google by reading this page, and how easy it is to understand that information? That's going to give you an actual score, an actual mathematical score. And this, the behavior of users in search, whether they stay a short time, medium time, or a long time, is going to boost that score. So imagine you create a great page, you rank it here where clicks can actually be produced, because in position 70, nav boost does 0 because there's no clicks, right? Already here in top 20 positions, the nav boost matters a lot. So good on page and good links will get you here. Now the job moves into nav boost, for which you already have to have your page very well designed, good navigation, good headings, good images, fast website, all the other things that I've already mentioned in the video. And then you will get very long clicks, ideally the last clicks. And that will give your current information retrieval score a nice boost. And so if your page, right, has a higher amount of long clicks than everyone else, nav boost alone will start moving you up positions for as long as you're beating these guys at the game, while you continue to get backlinks or other positive signals. Here's a yep, the page is really good, keeps getting links, users are satisfied. Matter of fact, they're more satisfied than here, more satisfied than here. I guess I'm gonna continue to move them up until eventually maybe they move you here and they see, oh no, this page that has a precise page, which right now there's a store with a precise page for this query, maybe that page has an even better user behavior data. Okay, well then they will shuffle you down, and then you have a competition with one guy, right? If you've done your heading structure right with all the rich keywords in your headings, you will also most likely be featured here on the AI overview and the little cards, right? So you will get also some clicks from here as well going to your page. Can you beat this? Sometimes, rarely, nature of SEO, but you can definitely beat people that look like you. So if you have a store that sells notebooks for language learning and you're in number 10 and you're stuck there, what's most likely happening is either you're not getting enough clicks because your title and meta description are very poor, or you're getting the clicks but the users are bouncing back too quickly because somehow the design, the layout, the information on the page isn't satisfactory. If you look here now in Ahrefs, you will see Reddit, the show that I was mentioning, Amazon, Fluent Language, Fluent U, Etsy, and the New York Times. Okay, what are we looking for here? All right, we're looking for this information right here. What is the DR of all of these domains? And as you can see, pretty strong, yeah, but it's ready, so you have to ignore that. Amazon, very strong, yes, we have to ignore that. Etsy, again, is gonna rank for things like this because it's Etsy. But what we're looking for here is how some websites, even though for the query of being for language learning, because it's just a big article with a truckload of referring domains that has already tons of traffic, and is ranking for the real top parent entity, just best notebooks, it is going to rank in a pretty good position, but it's not at the top, as you can see here. The language notebooks dedicated page, language learning notebook, right, with search volume, is ranking number 2, right under, number 3 really, right under Reddit and the AI overview. If this is you, this is the kind of brand here on the example, this is where you can be with good on page, because as you can see here, there's barely any links. So from the Google API leak that happened a couple of years ago, we do know that Google uses a handful of different quality scoring systems. I've just mentioned them, but I'll give you again. It's Chard, Tofu, Keto, Rhubarb, and Content Effort. So what is Rhubarb? Rhubarb is a simple metric that basically gives a score for any individual page, very similar to that information retrieval score that we were talking about earlier. And what it does is it sets an average. If Google reads 100 pages of content and each one of them gets an average of 6.5, your site, when it comes to the content quality score, something that we heard before called helpful content, right? The helpfulness of your content is going to get a score, right? And let's say your site on average scores a 6.5. You will be able to compete against other websites that are also around a 6.5 when it comes to the content. But here is the magic. If you now go and publish a page that is so good that it scores a 10 out of 10 in terms of the information retrieval score, immediately that page will get flagged as a very important page. So by itself, it will have an easier time ranking because you've used the escape hatch of your own website, and that page will bring the average of your entire site up, and now all the other pages have an easier time ranking. Content effort, which is one of the most important ones, is literally an LLM asking itself a question. How much effort did the person that wrote this content put in writing this content? So things that it looks for are things like original research, rich data, loads of structured information. Yes, that's where headings come into play as well. External sources that validate any numbers or claims. Rich media like images, videos, infographics, diagrams, maybe built-in free tools. All of those things influence the total content effort that your page is going to get. So here's a power move that you can do when you build links to your own pages. Build links from content that has a very high content effort score. Make sure that your guest posts have very lengthy, thorough content, great heading architecture, FAQs, good schema, good images, infographics, external links to a lot more sites than just your own. Don't be greedy with your guest posts. Internal links to other pieces that are valuable in the host website, and everything that you can add to make sure that that piece of content where you're getting a link from will rank and will have a higher quality score than the average from the container site. Then both publishers and Google will love your site and will want more from you. So now let me show you two different checks that you can make on your pages or the pages that you start to get new links from in order to assess just how high is the ceiling, just to how much can you actually aspire with your pages. And as well as you run this process, you will have a bunch of tips of things that you can improve in your page to perform better. So first, if you want to do this in full depth, you will need to go here, console.cloud.google.com, create a new project for yourself, and then come here and look for the Cloud Natural Language API. Enable the API, and once you do that, you can get an API key. Yes, be warned, this costs money. It's not free, but the cost per check is extremely low. You might have to create a billing profile, okay, within your Google Workspace environment. And from there, you can drop the API key when you use the three-dimensional assessment skill. You don't need this at all. It just gives you another layer of confirmation on just how good your page is, whether Google can find the entities that you want to rank for or not. Now, I'm gonna show you a live example of this 3D skill using this article on how to reclaim lost backlinks as an example. This is an older piece that I did. I covered the basics. I put it on the website because this was a question that we kept getting. Hey, how do I get backlinks that I've lost? Cool. I crank out a quick article and I slapped it on the website a good while ago. But I know this piece is not as good as it could be. So I wrote this other piece, which is going to substitute that on our website, on Get Me Links. Amazing. So you can see here on this article, I go into a lot more depth. You can see here the live example of the heading architecture, right? A lot more depth here just on the table of contents. You can very quickly see, right? This is not a very deep article, okay? Even though it's already helpful. Amazing. So what I'm gonna do now live is I'm gonna run the 3D assessment skill on both URLs using Google Anti-Gravity so you can see just how easy it is to do this and just how much value you are going to get from this assessment. Let's go. All right, so now I'm here within Google Anti-Gravity. I'm gonna run the 3D skill because I wanted to run on both URLs and then show you the side by side, but you don't need to go this deep. You can just tell it, hey, run my 3D skill on this URL. Boom, it will take care of everything. On the first run, it will ask you, hey, do you have a Google Natural Language API key? And if you do, boom, you can add it on your .env file. There's a Python reader that will check for the key so that the agent itself does not read the key. Otherwise, it will bleed into the context window of the agent, and then you no longer have control on the key and you have to rotate it, okay? Amazing, let's go. As you can see here, it utilized the Python script, right? To go and check for the key, nice and clean. It's creating an outline of the analysis on both. It's reading the different chunks of both pages, and soon we'll have our 3D assessment on both pages to see what did we do right in one of them and what did we do right on the other one and what did we do wrong on both. Something to note here, which is something that I said earlier, as you can see, it's analyzing content in chunks, right? And it tells you exactly what chunks, and it pulls that by the headings. All right, beautiful. Now we have here our assessment of both the live URL and the new one. Let's see what it says, okay? Dimension number 1, human, quality rater guidelines assessment, a 4 out of 10. Ouch. Okay, EEAT breakdown. Experience, absence. Why? Apparently I don't offer enough data. Okay, expertise, surface level. Ouch. Authoritativeness, emerging. Okay, trustworthiness, questionable. Ouch. Like, I know this thing. I've been doing it for a decade. How comes my content is so poor? Well, I didn't put enough effort into the piece. That's just how it is. Now, what works? Boom, boom, boom. What doesn't work? Okay. Verdict, low quality. Ouch. Might have to do why the article stopped ranking. Okay, dimension number 2, Google, search engine, 4 out of 10. Ouch. Classical SEO signals, topical relevance, good alignment with the host, heading hierarchy, basic H2s, H3s. Okay, content depth, very thin, not good. AI detection risk, high. Interesting, right? Okay, NLP entity analysis. So AI detection risk, this is very interesting, right? If you write with low effort, you will sound like low effort AI. There is that, right? NLP entity analysis. Let's see what it finds. Cite, links, set, SEO, mentions, link reclamation. Okay, it's extremely generic. It likes any specific subtopic. So of course, Google will struggle to really understand what the article is about, okay? Say H1 and H2s contain the core keyword, or at least I got that right, a while back. And entity clusters are purely generic SEO terms with lack in semantic depth. Okay, ouch. Dimension 3, LLM, citation and retrieval, 2 out of 10. Wow, painful. When I cite this, no, categorical no, okay? No original data points, frameworks, or substantive claims worth referencing. Okay, retrieval and chunking quality. The chunking follows the standard headings, but the content inside those chunks is mostly generic padding. If retrieved via RAG for a query like how to do link reclamation, an LLM will find the text too thin to extract actionable steps beyond find broken links and email them. Which is, yeah, that's how you do link reclamation, okay? But in order to have performance on both Google and LLMs, you need to go right now insanely higher than that. Insanely higher. So what did I do? I wrote the piece again with what I actually know, and I enriched it as much as I humanly can. Let's see what the results are. Okay, dimension number 1, human quality rated assessment, 9 out of 10. Yes, that's what we're looking for, okay? Experience, exceptional. Mentions based on our agency data on 200 plus campaigns. Correct, we've done thousands of campaigns. Expertise, authoritative. Why? Because I talk about actual concepts on the article, like how does Google measure the first scene, page rank weight, and phrase anchor spam days. Actual real metrics from the Google API leak, from Google Patents. I've had a lot more time, right, to go deep into the patents since last year, and now I'm changing what I put out in terms of SEO content by grounding it a lot more into that deeper layer of theory. Amazing. Authoritativeness. This says this will be the go-to authority. Once the article is live, you can go and read it and you tell me, okay? YML classification, nothing. What works? Deep practitioner insights, the triage of the 6 types of lost links, something that we do, right? Original data, 200 plus campaigns, yes sir. Patents and links, expertly grounded in SEO theory and documented Google API leak attributes. Okay, what doesn't work? The sheer density of technical terminology might overwhelm absolute beginners. Number 2, Google search engine, 9 out of 10. Why? Topical relevance, perfectly aligned. Heading hierarchy, superb. Descriptive headings, beautiful, right? Exactly what I was telling you on the whiteboard. Content depth, extremely comprehensive. MECE, right? Have to be comprehensively exhaustive. You have to finish the whole subject. AI detection risk, minimal, highly specific API attribute references, and unique agency benchmarks are difficult for AI to hallucinate accurately in structure. Correct, I wrote it. And I assisted myself with AI for structuring, for getting the right entities in place, and I did multiple rounds, of course, of these 3 assessments as I was building the piece to ensure that I hit the mark. NLP entity analysis. Let's see what Google found. Links, link, status, page rank weight, reclamation, Google page. Significant mid-tier entities. These were the top ones, huh? First in date, page rank value, velocity detection. The semantic footprint here is gorgeous. Instead of just writing about SEO, this text triggers highly specific algorithm entities. What doesn't work? Missing custom images or diagrams. True. Dimension 3, LLM citation and retrieval score, 10 out of 10. Woo! Let's go. Can't wait to go live with this article to see how well it ranks. What its cite is, yes, absolutely as primary reference. Amazing. If asked, does link reclamation bypass velocity checks, or what happens to PageRank when a domain expires? The content is ideal retrieval target. Amazing. So, verdict, a 9 out of 10, 9.3 out of 10. Fixes, none. This is ready for production. Improvements, custom diagrams, and a table summarizing the 6 types of lost links. If we look at this side by side, okay, from a 3.3 on the 3-dimensional check to a 9.3. If I had been building links to this article and it wasn't ranking, it cannot be because of the links. It's obviously because of the content. Content quality wasn't good enough. It wasn't even a 5 out of 10. So now I'm ready to publish the 9.3 out of 10 piece, and very much looking forward just to see how it performs. And this is something that you can do. It took a few minutes, took about 6 minutes for anti-gravity to run the analysis on 2 pages. So obviously, if you run it in just 1 page, it will be faster, and it will give you a list of what you can improve, okay, directly here, okay, action plan, immediate fixes, you know, do all of this, do all of that. And well, guess what? You can feed the action plan and the assessment again back into the AI. You can ask the AI, hey, interview me on this subject. I'm a subject matter expert on this. Interview me. I'll tell you everything that's on my brain. You know, read the transcript of this video from Alejandro where he teaches on page and help me incorporate all those into my piece, which you can do. You can literally grab the transcript of this video, feed it to your AI as RAG, run the skill, get the fixes, and ask it to interview you so you can give your subject matter expertise into the article and write a new piece. And then you can just polish for voice, tone, etc. Make sure that it's you. Run the 3D assessment again and you'll be surprised. So to recap, headings and entities tell Google and AIs what your page is about. Your general on-page score sets the ceiling of how high can you perform for those queries, those keywords that the entities answer. Then nav boost and the other quality system multiply that score to push you even higher or demote you depending on what the users are actually doing on your page. And then links amplify that, whether that's for the better or for the worse. So if you've been already strengthening your website with some off-page and you're not seeing the results that you are looking for, I invite you to go and do that 3D assessment on any pages where you're actively building links to find the opportunities that are there to unlock your page, as well as running it through the Google Natural Language Processing API skill that I've given you that you can use in Claude, Anti-Gravity, wherever you want, to make sure that you actually have the entities that you think you have in your page when it comes to looking at your page the same way that Google does. That's it for this video. Hope you learned something new, something practical, and something actionable that will actually help you get better performance both from Google and AIs, more traffic, more leads, and more money, which is what I ultimately desire for you. And if you like more deep dive content like this by all accounts, hit the subscribe button, join the channel, and you can put anything that you want answered in the comments and I will give you my take on it. All right, thank you very much for watching and I'll see you in the next one.